Hello bookish friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a massive book unhaul. I just counted all of these books and we are getting rid of 62 books. I have never done an actual book unhaul, like never in my entire life. Of my 10 years collecting books, I have never done an entire book unhaul until now. Obviously, I've gotten rid of some books over the years, but that was mostly like one at a time or like one series that I didn't want to continue. But 2025 is almost over and I refuse to start 2026 with shelves that look like garbage. I just kind of went through my shelves because I wasn't happy with them. I think I said it in my bookshelf tour. I am unhappy with my shelves, still am, even though it's a little bit better now. But I've kind of gone through every single shelf and looked at each book and thought about if I like it being there. I thought about if I liked reading it, if I even read it, or if I ever will read it. Because as I said, I've been collecting books for over 10 years now. And there's some books in here that have been on my shelves for 10 years and I still haven't gotten around to reading them. So I think it's actually time to let go because it's just not healthy to stick to keeping these books, even though I will probably never read them. I feel physical pain thinking about getting rid of these books because it's so many books and I've spent so much money on them. Just a little note in the beginning, obviously I will try to sell them or donate them. I will not be actually getting rid of them because they're all in pretty good condition. And another note, if you've been watching my channel for a little bit longer, you might have heard that I am actually from Germany and I read a lot of my books in English now. I actually read a majority of my books in English now and I rarely ever buy German books except if they're exceptionally pretty. Yeah, that's the only reason. And I don't really like reading in German anymore. I just think English is such a beautiful language and it's much smoother to read than German sometimes. But I thought it would be fun to go through all of my books, look at all of my books that I'm getting rid of. There's a few where I have like the German version of, and then there's a few by German authors, but I still thought it would be fun to see. So I hope that isn't something that totally bores you to death. Pray that these don't fall. One of the first books I'm gonna get rid of is the A Touch of Darkness series by Scarlett St. Clair. I read this in 2022 when it came out, and I really enjoyed the first one, but I just never continued the series. And honestly, I just don't see myself continuing the series anymore. I just don't feel like it. So I don't think there's any need to hold on to these. There is probably someone who would love to read these, and I read my paperbacks very carefully, so there's not a crack in this spine. Yeah, I just think it'll be better off somewhere else. Next we have this book. It's called Ever and After. It's by a German author and it was like, I had a German subscription box. It's called Bücherbüchse. If you don't know them, they have incredibly pretty editions. They just like restocked their alchemized special edition. It's gorgeous. But I had the subscription box and it kind of sucked in the beginning. The subscription box was really bad. And then like half a year later, they turned really good. But I don't really like this design. And as I said, I don't really like to read in German anymore. So I don't see myself reaching for this. It is a Snow White retelling, which sounds really fun, but I just don't think that I'll get around to it ever. Next up, we have The Deal and the Mistake by Elle Kennedy. I read this entire series, but I only have the first two physical because I listened to the rest on audio. And I really liked the first one. I also liked the second one, but the rest of the series I really didn't like. And it's by no means a favorite of mine. I'll just get rid of these. I will never reread them, so there's no reason to keep them. And since I didn't like the rest of the series, these also have like a little bit tainted the rest of the series. So I just don't like looking at these. This is Me Before You. I have this in the English edition, which is precisely why I'm getting rid of this German edition. It does have some fond memories. I just don't think I will be reading this again. But yeah, I'm getting rid of this as well. Here it is. Here's the second part of the A Touch of Darkness series by Scarlett St. Clair. Same reason as the first one. I just don't see myself continuing the series. So off with it. If you see me like looking to the side or down, I'm trying to find out if these are the actual names for the books. The original title should be Eleanor and Gray, I think. So that's the couple's name in this. I know a lot of people love these books. I personally hated it. I really didn't like the writing style, and I'm not a fan of single dad romances. And this kind of was my discovery of that I don't like single dad romances. I really did not care for this book, so I'll be getting rid of it as well. We have Miss Colleen Hoover. I bought these books when I was really young, and I never got rid of them. I read them at 14, and I think the reason why I'm getting rid of this is pretty obvious. I would never read these again. I also haven't read Lila yet. This is called Without Merit, which I think is one of her lesser known books. I have no memory of this. And I haven't even read this, but I won't. So since these are in great condition, I'll just be selling them. I'm pretty sure this is a German author as well, because I can't find anything about it. But it's called Pearl, and it's like about a girl that becomes immortal because she's looking for true love. I really enjoyed this when I read it, but I was 13, and I just won't reread this ever. So I didn't even know I owned this until I moved out of my parents' house and I randomly found this somewhere. I used it to prop up a plant, I think, as like a plant stand. So I think it's time to say goodbye. We have the Selection series. This is like the spin-off series that's about the main couple's daughter and her like selection. I loved the twist in these books. I really, really loved the twist in these books. If you've read these, you know. But I won't reread them. This is kind of painful. I have to say, this is kind of painful to get rid of these, because I still have such a soft spot for the Selection series. There's no legitimate reason to keep these. Obviously, the same goes for the original trilogy. This is still really painful to get rid of these, but I won't reread them ever. So I'll say goodbye to these. This is the second book to Me Before You. Never read this. Not interested. I've heard some people say that you can honestly just skip it, and I will. It's just a shame that I already bought this because hardcovers in Germany are quite expensive. I'd rather get rid of this and have peace of mind than be sad about the money. Next up, we have a book series by a, I think, German author. But I read the first one, I liked it, but I have, again, no memory of it. I read it when I was 15, that is 8 years ago. I have no idea what happened, and I just think that I've grown out of a lot of these stories, and I'd rather read something that's like popular right now, and I just don't want to spend my time on these, to be honest. The Veiled Kingdom by Holly Renee. I hated this book. I hated it so much. I closed the book and I was angry that I spent 22 euros on this book. It is pretty, but it was so bad. The premise sounded really interesting, but the rest of this book was so badly executed. I hated reading this, so I will be getting rid of this immediately. We are almost done with the first stack of books. But we still have, this is again another German author. We have Midnight Chronicles by Bianca Josivoni and Laura Neider. This was fun, and I really wanted to continue the series, but apparently the series follows different people in each book, which was so weird to me. Also, it's like a 10-book series, and I just don't feel like committing to that, especially since I liked the first one, but I didn't love it. So I won't be continuing the series. No way. What? Oh my god. If you see me looking down, I have my tablet right here, and I'm like, as I said, I think already looking up the original names, and I have this book, When It's Real by Aaron Watt, and I just found out that it's actually a pen name for Elle Kennedy, who wrote the Off-Campus series and stuff. I didn't know that. Elle Kennedy and an author named Jen Frederick I really like this. This is about like a pop star fake dating kind of story, which is really cringe, but it was really fun. But I will never reread this again. It's a German book, so I'll get rid of it. We have Cinder and Ella by Kelly Oram. Again, I really enjoyed this. This is also like a famous, but not pop star. I think he's an actor. That kind of story. I loved those when I was younger. This was really fun. I just won't reread it. And we are done with the first stack. So I need to talk a bit quicker because it is currently like 4 p.m. and the sun will set in about 1 hour. So I need to hurry up. I have a bunch of books by Samantha Young. Those are like kind of darker romance books, grown up, more romance books that I snuck past my mom when I was 14. She had no idea that I was reading this. This is kind of like a sexy romance book series. And this was my favorite of the series. I love this. This was the best book of the series. I won't reread it. I feel like I won't reread romance books, like probably ever. So again, I have a few. Jamaica Lane, I have no idea which part in the series it is. I think this is actually one that I hadn't ever read. Yeah, I never read this. You know, I like the rest of the series, but if I'm getting rid of one of them, I'm getting rid of all of them. These stacks are like totally out of order, so this is very chaotic. Okay, I can't find anything on the original title of this. Maybe it's the same one. So this is the rock series, The Last Ones to Know series by Jamie Shaw. Again, I read this. I had like a rockstar phase when I was younger where I read a ton of rockstar and famous people romance books. This is one of them. I really enjoyed these, but again, not rereading them. All In by Emma Scott. I got the second hand for like $2. I've been trying to pick it up for like 4 years now and I still haven't. And I've kind of grown out of my rockstar phase, I'm pretty sure. So I'll just be getting rid of these as well. This series by LJ Shen, I'm pretty sure this is just called Vicious and this is just called Scandal. For some reason, I'm pretty sure that this is the first and the third book in the series. I didn't know that. I'm pretty sure I also snuck these past my mom. My mom did not know what I was reading. I read one of these, or maybe I read two. I have no memory of them. I won't be rereading them. Off you go. Now, this is a book by Jennifer Armentrout that I really enjoyed. I'm pretty sure it's a standalone about a girl who dies in a car crash and then she doesn't really die though. She comes back, but now everything she touches dies and everyone who she touches dies. I really enjoyed this, but I don't see myself rereading it. So I am so sorry if I say the same thing about every single book. It's just I have the same reason to unhaul all of these books pretty much. So I do hope that you can look past that. We have Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I liked this book, bought the second one, never continued the series. Exactly the same as with the A Touch of Darkness series, and I won't. So, as painful as it is to get rid of so many books, I already feel so much lighter. Like, looking at the bookshelves, I feel peace of mind, almost. Dublin Street, I think it's the first or second one in the series by Samantha Young. Really like this, not rereading it. London Road, I'm pretty sure this is the second one in the series. Enjoyed this even more, but won't reread it ever. India Place, never read it, never will. Scotland Street, now this I read, liked it, won't reread. Hero by Samantha Young, I loved this when I was younger. Looking back now, it's a terrible story, but it's a typical millionaire or billionaire romance with a surprise pregnancy at the end. Not rereading this. Jennifer Armentrout wrote something like a romance with a crime story in this. I read this and I really don't know how I feel about it. I definitely won't be continuing the series and I don't really care for these. We have the rest of the Rockstar books. by Jamie Shaw. Same as for the first one, goes for these. Also, I never even bought the fourth one. So now we have The Keeper, it's called. I bought this, like this is the movie cover, which is atrocious, but okay. We had to read this in school in English class, and I really liked it. I really did. But I think if I were to ever reread it, I would probably reread it in English. So I'll be getting rid of the German one and maybe buy the English version secondhand sometime, because I think it's a great story. We have this book by Tracy Deebs, which I'm pretty sure is the first in a trilogy. I'm not sure what exactly the original title is. I think it's called Tempest Rising or something like this. This was the very first mermaid book I ever read. And I read this in my local library when I was really young, like even younger, I think 12. And then I felt really nostalgic and bought this secondhand because I wanted to reread it, but I never did. So it's been lying here. I will probably, honestly, not read it again. So I'm really sad that I wasted that money, but that's okay. I will just be selling it again or giving it in one of these free little library things. And maybe someone really enjoys this. This is a series by Josephine Angelini. I think the first one is called Star-Crossed. This was my very first Greek mythology trilogy, and I really liked it. The same thing goes for these as for the previous book. I bought these because I was feeling really nostalgic and I wanted to reread them, and kind of forgot that I have 200 books on my physical TBR as it is. So at what point will I actually get to rereading these? Probably never. So I'll have to part with them again. I'm sorry if the lighting is already becoming terrible, because I can feel the sun setting and the room growing darker. But that's why I'm sitting here and not in that corner, because as you can see, there's like no light. And we have finished the second stack, which means we're onto our final stack of books. And the first one on the final stack of books is Iskari, or what it's in English, The Skyweaver. I think this was about dragons. I really enjoyed this, but I never continued the series, and now I don't remember anything about this book. And I've owned it for like 7 years now. So I feel like at this point, I'm just gonna give up. Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. This is now the second book to the Kingdom of the Damned, I think it was. And as I said, I never read this. I bought it, never read it, probably never will. And we have It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I read this when I was younger. We all know how we feel about Colleen Hoover now. So I'll be getting rid of this book and I won't feel a single thing about it, except relief. These 3 books are the Young Elites series by Mary Lou. I started reading the first one when I was younger, and I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, that the main character, the female main character in this, is kind of a morally gray character. And I think I was just too young for those, because I hated that as soon as something happened that made me dislike the female main character, I put this book down and I haven't picked them up since. And it's been, again, 7 or 8 years. I will never read these, as sad as I am about it. If you want me to keep any of these and read them, if I haven't read them yet, tell me in the comments and I may consider keeping them for now. Because by the time you see this, I still probably won't have like donated or sold all of these. This is a German author again. This book is called One True Queen by Jennifer Benkow. I read this and I really enjoyed it, but since I read this, I think there's like 6 or 7 more books out, and I am pretty sure they're all like connected duologies, and I just don't have it in me to read this many books. And again, I don't remember really much about this. I really don't like reading in German anymore, so I'm getting rid of a majority of my German books here. We have the first 2 books in the Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard. I have Red Queen in English. When I was younger, I read Red Queen And I never continued the series. But if I was to read them again, I would read them in English. So I'm getting rid of these copies. This is called The Immortal Rules, Blood of Eden, Book 1 by Julie Kagawa. I loved this. I loved this when I read it. But again, it's been like 7 years and I never continued the series. And I don't think I will. There's just so many books that have a higher priority right now that I will never get around to reading these, which is a shame because I really did love this. This was like a vampire story and I really loved this. But again, not continuing the series, sadly, actually. This is Winter Song by S.J. Jones. I bought this secondhand because it looked interesting and I needed one more book to actually qualify for free shipping. And I bought this, but it really never interested me enough to actually pick it up. So I still haven't read this and I won't. I'm really sorry. Again, I'm sorry for the money I spent on this, but I just won't read this. This is called The Frostblood Saga by Ellie Blake. I read the first one, again, when I was really young, and then I bought the second and third one because I really enjoyed it at the time. This is like the only one that I've actually attempted to reread, and I failed miserably. It was like a DNF at 100 pages in because I just couldn't, like, it was a soft DNF. I was willing to continue reading the series, but then the longer it was, the less I felt like picking it up again. And so I think after another failed attempt at rereading these, I'm gonna say goodbye to this series. This is called Promised by Kira Cass, the same author as Selection. And I read this and I really liked it. But I think at the time I read this, the following books hadn't been published yet. And then it was just too long of a time until I tried to pick them up. And I completely forgot what happened in this book. And then I didn't feel like reading anymore. I did have like a book slump, a 2-year, 3-year book slump from, I think, the age of 14 to 16, where I bought all of these books at like 13, 14. I read a lot of romance books then, and then I kind of slumped. Then I only got back into reading with ACOTAR when I was like 16. And this is one of the ones that fell victim to me being in a book slump because I'm not continuing the series. This is the Elemental Assassins series by Jennifer Estep. If she's pronounced that way, I honestly have no idea and I apologize if it's not. Oh, the lighting is getting so dark. I'm so sorry. I hope you can still see everything. But I'm totally getting rid of these. I read the first 2. I really liked them, but it's like a 12-book series. And again, I don't have that in me at the moment. So I have been wanting to continue the series and planning to for like 6 years. I haven't, so it's time to give up. And we're on to our final book of the Unhaul, which is Falling Fast by Bianca Jesovoni. Again, she's a German author, and I tried to read this. I never did. It's like a small town romance. I didn't really like the writing style, so I gave up on it, and now I'm completely giving up on it. And that concludes our book Unhaul. I am so incredibly proud of myself because unhauling is a terrible thing for me. I am so bad at unhauling because I get so easily attached to the most mundane things. And I never throw things away. I even keep like scraps of paper of everything. But it's actually time to let go, and it feels so good. It actually feels really good to let go of all these books. And I'm so glad you joined me. If you stayed till the end, you can leave a book stack emoji if you wanted to let me know that you stayed until the end. And I hope this wasn't too boring of a video. But I love watching unhauls and I feel so much better already. I hope the lighting was okay in the video. But this was so much fun and I'm really glad that I can put all of these books away, and I'm gonna bring them away, I think, next week and donate them. And then I'll be rid of these and have more space for new books. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.